Hey guys, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to say one con from my favorite RPGs of all time. So this video was inspired by the Kaseki Nuts video about the same topic. I highly recommend you go watch. I thought this was a fun topic and a little bit different, so I'm just like, you know what? Let's do it. Please let me know one con that you don't like in your favorite JRPGs in the comments down below, because in my humble opinion, I think that every game, even if it's your favorite game, does have its flaws. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of these flaws are kind of nitpicky because I just love the game so much. So with that being said, the first one is Atelier Ryza 3. I love the Atelier series so much. I mean, homegirl's right there chilling. Now, most of you should know I love the games. I mean, if you're new here, then welcome. I love Atelier games. But there is one thing I don't love about the games, and that being there is no English dub. And I hate it a lot, mainly because the older Atelier games do have English dub, and while they're not standout performances or anything, they're actually really good. Well, I was playing Atelier Escalage and I enjoyed it so much more and got immersed because of the English dub. Now, some people don't like the English dub, but that's a simple fix. You could just toggle on the Japanese. But with recent Atelier games, especially Atelier Ryza, there's no English dub. You just have to do with the sub, and the sub is very annoying, mainly because the font is really small and it's in white, and the game is uber bright. Now, there's a little bit of shadow, but it's very minimal, and it just takes me out of the cutscenes a little bit more, especially compared to the older Atelier games where you get to experience all the cutscenes in English. And then adding the fact that I need binoculars to actually see the text, and there's no way to adjust the subtitles. You can't make it bigger, you can't make it where the text is on like a black thing so you can see it better. It's just white and it's very tiny, and I just had a really hard time playing the game on my TV or my monitor because I would have to squint most of the time, and I wear glasses, so my eyesight is not the best. But even with my glasses, I have a hard time seeing it. I am nearsighted, that means I can't see anything far, and sometimes when I'm having a headache or something, I like to take my glasses off and I'll take my Switch to do portable mode. But even then, even when it's in my face, it's very hard to read, and I can't be the only one. If only they had an option to increase or decrease the font size or change the color to something not white. But even better, I hope that they have English dub for the next Atelier game. I know Atelier is a niche series and they can't really put that much funds into voice acting and stuff, but they've done it in the past where the games were even more unknown. So I hope that they put the energy to doing an English dub for future Atelier games. Now, I know this con is probably a me thing because my eyesight is bad, I wear glasses, but I still think having options, especially for people with bad eyesight, would be a good thing to have in your games. And if you're not going to have an English dub, at least have the option to customize the subtitles so people could see it better. That would be nice. I did enjoy the game though, but that one thing really irked me. Alrighty, next one is Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake. Now, I hate to do this to my favorite Paper Mario, but it needs to be said. Now, it's gonna sound weird when I say this, so I'll try to describe it the best I can. The game feels slow, and I don't mean like speed slow or the story slow. No, I mean like the gameplay feels slow, and there's a good reason for that, because the game runs at 30 FPS instead of 60 FPS. You can feel the game a little bit more slower, especially if you played the GameCube one. The remake one feels clunkier and your timing is a little bit different, so it was a weird thing, especially because I played the original, and then when I played the remake, I was like, man, this feels heavy, this feels really slow, and the buttons are really slow too. Flow of the battle is essentially slower than the original, is what I'm trying to say. It feels kind of sluggish, whether it comes to combat, traversing, or even dialogue. Now, I know nothing about game development or what goes on, but when a game on a less powerful console runs at 60, and then the remake on a more powerful console runs at 30, I'm just like, what? The math is just not mathing. I know it's because maybe the art and the rendering is a little bit more big, but still, I'm just like, what's going on here? And on top of that, this game relies a lot on inputs to perform your battle moves, so it can really be jarring trying to pull off attacks because you sometimes would have a input delay. The battles just feel weird. It feels different. And typically when games have timing mechanics or button inputs, they go for 60 because that's the most smoothest experience for the player and for the game. So overall, the remake could have been a perfect across the board, but someone fumbled the bag when it came to the frame rate. The game is still really great and amazing, and I highly recommend you guys play it. This is just my one con when it comes to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Next one is Final Fantasy VI. Now, the one flaw that I have against Final Fantasy VI is the portrayal of Kefka. Now, to clarify, I really do think Kefka is one of the greatest villains in JRPG history, but that could be mostly because we don't know much about his backstory. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. For me, I thought it was a good thing because the less we know, the less we could sympathize with this chaotic clown. But sometimes I think to myself, how did this chaotic clown come to be? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a sympathetic kind of backstory, but I always wonder, how did he get where he is? Did he eat too much paint that has lead?
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
Did his mom drop him when he was a baby? Who knows? And besides being a god and causing chaos, what are his goals? So times like this make me think like maybe a little bit of context of how Kefka is and the way that he is would have been nice. Like when I was in college, I had this counselor and they would always say, what are your goals? What are your motivations? What do you want to learn or study at school? I kind of want to know that about Kefka. Well, except for the studying part. Yeah, I would have taken away from the evil clown that's just evil for evil's sake, but it'll give you some perspective on why is he doing what he's doing. I mean, even Joker from Batman had his backstory. I think he had several actually, but there's always a backstory to why the Joker is the way he is. Kefka, we don't really know. Now, there is this NPC that you could ask, but first of all, it's hard to even get to him if you don't know where to look. Now, I know the mystique of Kefka is knowing that you don't know anything, that he's just chaos incarnate, but I feel like the story would have been a little bit more impactful if we knew more about Kefka, his origins, motivations, goals, because it's just human nature to try to understand something even when you don't understand what they're doing. But overall, the story in Final Fantasy VI is amazing and I highly recommend you guys check it out. Next one was admittedly very hard to pick a con just because I love the game so much, and that is Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The one thing I don't like about Heart Gold and Soul Silver is the XP distribution. Now, if you guys don't know, in older Pokemon games, you pretty much had to get an item and you put it on one Pokemon, and then when you level up, that one Pokemon gets leveled up too. You can't do it with all your Pokemon, so you have to be really strategic with which Pokemon has the helmet on, and it kind of forces you to train your whole party. And while there's a lot of things I don't like in modern Pokemon games, the fact that number one, you get the XP distribution by default, you don't have to find an item, and it's for all your Pokemon is so convenient. I love it. And that's what's kind of hard about going back to Heart Gold Soul Silver, is the fact that I have to trade every single Pokemon without the XP share. It could be really annoying, and you're really forced to grind to help level up your Pokemon. The Elite Four in earlier Pokemon games were really hard. Like, they were actually a challenge, and you can't really get away with having one high level Pokemon to steamroll them. Most of your party has to be at adequate level. So yeah, the Elite Four was no freaking joke. But besides that, the game is fantastic. Like I said, I really had to think of a con for this one because in my eyes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the best that Pokemon has to offer, and I really love it. So the next pick is Octopath Traveler. Now, I picked Octopath Traveler because yes, it's one of my favorite games, but there is this glaring flaw that really bothered me, and this could be for Octopath Traveler 1 and Octopath Traveler 2. They both have the same mistake. The one con that I will give Octopath Traveler is the party members don't feel like party members. And if you play the game, you probably know what I'm talking about, but essentially each character has their own adventure and you get to play through each storyline, which is awesome. That is an awesome concept and I love it. But having each character do their own thing does have a drawback because you are in a party of different characters and they don't really interact with each other. I mean, they do, especially in Octopath Traveler 2, they really tried, but it's just sort of this awkward group thing where it's like, okay, I'll fight with you, but I know nothing about you. And I don't know, that's pretty weird. In most JRPGs, JRPGs, your party members are like those ride and die kind of people, and you guys can reflect on things, and everyone seems to be on the same page. But in Octopath Traveler, it just feels like these people are grouped together just to fight, and then that's it. And towards the end, there is this incident where everybody needs to band together, but it feels so unearned because nobody really knows each other, and I found that really disappointing. Now, I did say in Octopath Traveler 2 they did change this a bit, where there are scenarios where characters interact. It still feels kind of forced, but it's way better than the first one. Last game on this list is Kingdom Hearts 2. This one is gonna hurt me because Kingdom Hearts 2 is what I consider damn near perfection when it comes to JRPGs, but the con in this game is probably something a lot of people could agree to, and that is the stupid Gummi ships. I loathe the Gummi ship levels. They were a bane to my existence. I just wanted to get to point A to point B, and I don't know who okayed this, but it felt very shoehorned, and the mechanics were half-baked at best. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if it was optional. If it was optional, then I wouldn't care, but it's not. And there's items that you must get so you could get your ultimate weapon. So to me, it's a chore. But for people who haven't played, the Gummi ship sections are basically a section of the levels flying a Gummi ship in order to get to your next world. Now, that might not seem much, but there's meteors, there's different bosses, you gotta customize the thing. It's just a whole bunch of mess. The Gummi ship sections really felt disconnected and really slogged the pace of the game, especially considering that Kingdom Hearts 2 is an action RPG. So being confined to a ship with Chip and Dale yapping at you is not fun. I really don't like Chip and Dale. Actually, most of the Kingdom Hearts games made me loathe those stupid squirrels. I don't know, it's just unnecessary padding when it comes to the gameplay, and I just hated it from beginning to end. Anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just letting you know that not every game is perfect, and not every game needs to be perfect. There is bound to be stuff that you don't jive with, and that is perfectly fine. Please tell me one con from your favorite game in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. Anyways, if you like this video, then hit that like button, and please subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I would appreciate it. You could follow me in my socials in the description down below. Hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and as always, play a good game. Peace.